Let's see if this works. Okay, I am live. So for the past few weeks there's been a break in my ongoing series of exploring the minor arcana of the tarot. But we are back on track now. In this series I've just been going through the minor arcana. So far we've done the Ace, 2, 3, and 4 of Swords. Today we'll be doing the 5 of Swords. Going over a general overview, talking about what it means both normally and when drawn in reverse. And we talked about the symbolism. Sorry about that, I've been getting a lot of spam calls. We've been talking about the symbolism of the imagery on the card and what everything means and why it's there, at least with most like classic depictions. We talk about some associations people can draw between these cards and similar kind of things in astrology, numerology, alchemy, runes, some Eastern practices like omikuji, herbalism, animism, sacred geometry, and all that stuff. Then I tried to talk about some of the more theological and philosophical interpretations of the card. And yeah, the reason I do this is, well, everyone knows the major arcana, things like, you know, the Emperor, the Empress, the Magician, the Hanged Man, the Chariot, the Sun, the Moon. But not many people really talk about the significance and meaning of the minor arcana. And as such, I thought it would be I don't know, I just felt like this is something that should be out there for anyone who wants to get into the tarot, so that they can have a more comprehensive understanding of the individual cards. With all that out of the way, I will get started with the 5 of Swords. I do need to admit that rather than doing all the research myself, I used some AI to kind of pull from various resources, which I can then kind of check. So there might be some inaccuracies, and it's not entirely my fault, but do let me know anything that is not accurate so that I can fix it when I make the final versions of these videos. Because I want it to be as accurate as possible. Because my process right now is have the automated system pull from these different resources, kind of check them against one another, do some comparisons, and then give you what comes out of that. As we've been going through this series, certain things that are relevant or that could be related to the tarot have been added or dropped, and in the final version I will be doing a rehaul of everything so that all the things I talk about for one card will be spoken about for every other card. So, for example, I recently dropped... so, I had chakra as its own separate thing, but I was also talking about Reiki and Qigong, and Kundalini, which are 3 different things that talk about Qi. So, I removed the chi as its own separate category, since I figured it's kind of already covered by those other three. And an example for something that's being added, today I am adding something that I learned about while I was in Japan, which is the omikuji, which is something that people at, I think it was Buddhist temples, do, where they donate, like, I believe it was 10 yen to draw a fortune, and it has a huge range of things that you can draw, each with their own symbolism, and they talk about the significance of that fortune. And I thought that it would be a good idea to implicate that into, or not implicate, to add that to my roster of things I am tying into the tarot, since I do think that they can be closely related. Now, onto the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is a card associated with the element of air. Also signifies conflict, tension, and defeat, highlighting the consequences of selfishness, betrayal, or a shallow victory. If you look at the card, there are figures in conflict, typically a scene with one figure holding 3 swords, while 2 others are on the ground, and 2 other figures walking away, which suggests the aftermath of a conflict. The clouds and sky specifically are meant to be like, it's meant to be like a turbulent, or like a dark sky, something that I keep saying that, something that symbolizes tension, change, and again that emotional aftermath. And the emotional aftermath of conflict. So after everyone has their conflict and things have settled down, sometimes there can still be hurt feelings that linger, and that's kind of what that's supposed to be. And the swords and the swords themselves represent intellectual conflict, challenges, and the sharpness of one's words and thoughts. It's kind of like there's people who go, sticks and stones break my bones, word can never hurt me. Anyone who has any experience with with actually talking with people, especially people they care deeply about, knows that words can be some of the most harmful and long-lasting damage. The damage that can be dealt with words can be some of the most harmful and long-lasting. And swords kind of represent that, especially in this card. Onto the astrological associations. The element of air is associated with intellect, communication, and mental processes. In astrology, the card that would be most associated, the sign that would be most associated with this card would be Aquarius, which is a sign known for its independence, innovation, and occasional detachment, which can symbolize the which can reflect the card's themes of conflict and emotional distancing one from others, detachment from others as a result of conflict, or maybe as a means to avoid conflict. In numerology, the 5 is the symbol of change, conflict, and instability, representing the challenge and chaos that leads to growth and transformation. You have to go through difficulty in order to grow as a person and come out on the other side better for it. In alchemy, you could say that the 5 of Swords is related to dissolution, which involves the breaking down of the ego and dissolving one's personal conflicts. The 5 of Swords represents the disintegration of harmony due to conflict, urging the need for resolution and transformation. So, there was harmony, now there's conflict, there needs to be resolution, and something needs to change. In runes, there are 2 runes that can be relevant to the 5 of Swords. Hagalaz, the rune of disruption, challenges, and uncontrollable forces. And Thurisaz. Quick disclaimer, I'm going to be mispronouncing a very large majority of the things I say in here. Just try and come from a place of understanding that I am trying my best, but I simply am not very vocally eloquent. Thurisaz, which signifies conflict and the potential for change through struggle. So again, one is facing a challenge, something that is unavoidable, uncontrollable, coming through and wrecking things. But also, Thurisaz, after that conflict, after that destruction, after things have been torn down, there is the potential for growth and potential for change. So there is a darkness here, but beyond the darkness, there is a light. A light that says that even though it'll be difficult, things will get better. In I Ching, you would look at hexagram 6, actually, which is song and conflict. A hexagram representing conflict, contention, and the need for strategic thinking. Again, aligning with themes of struggle and the importance of understanding the consequence of your actions. It's kind of like how when you're arguing, you might say things that you don't mean, or you meant it in the moment, and you want... A lot of people, when faced with that, will try and, like, you know, alleviate the blame, saying, oh, that wasn't me, that was my anger. But the fact of the matter is that you said what you said, and you cannot avoid that. And whether or not you feel that way overall, you definitely felt it in the moment, which means that is inside you. It is a part of you. And that is something that you need to deal with. You need to accept it, and you need to understand it so that you can grow past it. Or, depending on what the conflict is, maybe it's a sign that there needs to be a change between the... let's say it's a conflict between 2 friends. It very well could mean that there is a need to sever the connection between that person. I'm not one for burning bridges, but there are times when that really is what's best, as upsetting as that might seem. Now for the new edition, Omikuji. In Japanese, Omikuji, you would relate it to negative omens, which is a fortune related to conflict or misfortune. It kind of is related to discord, facing challenges, and a need for carefully navigating your way through the upcoming obstacles you might face. In Reiki, it is the chakra most related to the 5 of Swords is the throat chakra, or Vishuddha. It is essential when dealing with the themes of conflict, as the throat chakra governs communication and truth, which emphasizes the importance of being honest with the other person and with yourself and resolving the conflict. In Ayurveda, I might remove this one. The card can symbolize an imbalance of Pitta, which is fire and water energy, which can lead to aggression, irritability, and conflict. So the Five of Swords would reflect a need to balance this energy, this pitta. In herbalism, you could relate the card to hawthorn, which is an herb known for its ability to calm one's heart and support you when you have an emotional, or can regulate your emotional balance. It embodies the essence of this Five of Swords. It can help ease tension and promote reconciliation. Okay, so in Kundalini, again, it's chakra, and again, it's throat chakra, or Vishuddha. Let me know which of the two I should keep, since I feel like having multiple things that all talk about the same concepts kind of messes with the pacing. But, that'll be for the future. In Kundalini practices, Five of Swords resonates with Vishuddha chakra, emphasizing the need for honest communication and the resolution of conflict through clear and honest expression. In animism, the spirit that can be most closely associated is the spirit of the fox. In animistic tradition, the fox represents cunning, adaptability, and strategic thinking. All things that are important and, in fact, necessary when navigating conflict with others, especially, and just, trying to bring intelligence and strategy into your navigation of that conflict. Now, to be clear, I know that a lot of people would think that, shouldn't it be more relevant to, emotion or compassion? And those are equally important. But blindly being compassionate, there's not much difference between that and offering empty platitudes. Meaningless words that are just there to appease the other person. True resolution does not always mean appeasement. In fact, true resolution might even result in both parties walking away dissatisfied, but over time it'll facilitate growth and healing. So that's the point of repeatedly bringing up the need for deep thinking and strategy and cunning when dealing with these conflicts. Because it's not about appeasing the person in the moment. It's about figuring out what will be the best. It's about figuring out what will be the best for you and the other person in the long term, to facilitate growth for all parties and become more as a people. I'm not always using the best words, but I'm trying. Moving on to sacred geometry. The symbol of this card would be the pentagon, which represents conflict and change. Again, it aligns with the representations of struggle, the need for transformation through adversity, all that. Let's see. Intellectual challenges, sharpness of words, potential interpretations. Okay, so now we can talk about what the card means, both upright and in reverse. When upright, the Five of Swords represents conflict and tension, and the aftermath of that confrontation. It suggests there is a situation in which victory might be achievable, but it will come at a cost. It can represent betrayal and defeat, or even just the feelings of betrayal or defeat, highlighting consequences of your selfish actions and hollow victories. It can represent lessons from conflict, encouraging that you learn from a recent conflict. Maybe you're not currently in a conflict or are not about to face a conflict, but are rather on the other end. You just came out of that conflict. In which case, this card is trying to encourage you to reflect on it and learn from it and grow from it. And it can represent the need for strategic thinking, suggesting that you focus on the problem, carefully communicate, and navigate your challenges, and try to avoid messing things up further. Try to avoid making the conflict messier or more complicated. In reverse, the Five of Swords represents resolution and reconciliation. It's kind of similar to its upright, but in this instance, it's more about how there is a need for you to forgive and move forward. It's the other side of the coin. It can represent lingering resentment or an unresolved issue, emphasizing the importance of any underlying issues or underlying tensions. It might mean that you might think something is resolved, but there's still something there, something under the surface that you're just not quite willing to acknowledge. And this card would be trying to remind you of the importance of recognizing that and being honest with yourself about it. In reverse, the Five of Swords can represent avoiding conflict, or one's tendency to avoid conflict or confrontation, which can lead to unresolved issues. I can speak from my personal experience that I myself can be very conflict avoidant. So this is an important lesson for me personally. You can't let things fester. And finally, the Five of Swords in reverse can represent letting go of your grudges, moving past conflict to achieve personal peace and harmony, or interpersonal peace and harmony. Moving on to theological and philosophical interpretations. In Christian theology, the card can represent the concept of moral conflict, the consequences of sin or betrayal, emphasizing the need for repentance and reconciliation. In Jungian psychology, it represents confrontation with shadow aspects of the self, particularly those related to conflict and aggression. It emphasizes the importance of integrating these experiences for personal growth, facing your demons, if you will. In the Kabbalah, it is linked to the Sephirah of Geburah, or severity, representing the challenging and often harsh aspects of conflict and the necessity of learning from your difficult experiences. So, that has been the Five of Swords. Hopefully next week we can cover the Six of Swords. Again, I'm sorry for the absence of music. I haven't fixed my audio setup so that I can have a separate recording for my voice and for the music. I'm working on it. Other than that, I also want to apologize for my phone going off repeatedly. I've been getting a lot of spam calls as of late. It is what it is. Finally, I just want to thank anyone who decides to watch these videos. I know they're probably not the most entertaining to the majority of people, but if you found this entertaining, leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Leave a comment, that always helps. And I just want to let you know that I am so thankful for each and every last one of you. It means so much to me that that anyone would watch my nonsense. So, thank you. And have a wonderful day. See you all next time. Thankful for each and every last one of you. It means so much to me that that anyone would watch my nonsense. So, thank you. And have a wonderful day. See you all next time.